Later, we'll get your details and
around the world. And thank God for all the watchmen and watchwomen around the world that's done. But it's like, well, you don't need to work and everything else. I'm like, listen, when you work for Jesus, you love him, you want to work for him. You want to go out there and warn people. We've had people say, well, that's a works gospel. No. When you are saved and you're sealed, you're doing it because you love Jesus. These people just don't love Jesus. That's the problem. They'd rather just sit and ignore everything. But those who truly love Jesus, they want to go out and make a difference and try to wake people up because we know Jesus loves people and he loves his children. That's why we do this. But see, these people, they don't really even care. That's just the sad part about the world today. They don't care. They don't care about what God thinks, what he feels. They don't care. It's all about them. The only time they want God is when it's time to pay their bills or get something that they want. But literally, that's just where we're at today. We live in a corrupt, evil world that is just in love with itself. This is the generation that Jesus talked about in Revelation. This is it. A generation with no morals. All they care about themselves. Just literally. Just scroll through Facebook and all these other media things. Lovers of their own selves. That's all this is. That's all you see. It's so disgusting, and I can't wait to be done with it. People love everything other than God himself. Literally. They worship the planet and don't worship God. The list goes on, and I can't bear it another day. I really can't. These people and their utmost, just, there's no words. There truly ain't. It's just, people just don't love God anymore. They just don't. It's an ungodly world everywhere you look. And people think this world's going to keep on ticking. It's not. It comes to an end, thank God, very soon. One day, very, very soon, it will come to an end. God's gave the warnings. They're out there. You've heard them. You've seen them. That's all we can do. The rest of it's up to them. To either take the warnings or be stuck here. If you're lost, don't wait another day, people. Listen, anybody that has any information that you've gotten, any more dreams, anything retaining, like I said, to this week or anything coming on, let us know in the email, okay? And try to keep it short because, like I said, there's only 2 of us. We appreciate all the information and all the stuff we're getting, okay? I'll give you more information tomorrow, but there's another show I'll come on. Her name's Amy, and I'll have all the channel information. We're going to do that Saturday night, I think, and I'll get more information on that. Amy has been on Brother Gary Gates' show, also Random. She's also been on Uptime. We just love and think the world of Amy. So we're going to be on her show come this weekend. I'll get you more information on that. Hopefully the power stays on because I've got storms coming tomorrow and the next day. So hopefully I keep the power on. The way it's looking right now, it's probably not. Literally can't keep it on here. But these storms have been so horrible. Just like today, we had almost like 70-mile-an-hour winds. And this morning it just came in. I didn't sleep well again last night. I was up and down. The storm hit us at 12 o'clock noon. I was getting ready to come in here and do the first show when the power went. So I was like, man, I should have done one earlier, but I just didn't do it. It's just one thing after another. But see, where we live in the mountains here, you got power lines that are running literally through trees. And we try to get them to cut these things out, cut the trees away from them. But some people that own property won't let them cut the trees. So that's why we run into these issues here. Constantly there's no power. That's why I got generators and stuff like that, because of that reason. Well, I will get off here. I don't want to keep you long. I know that I went longer than I thought I would go, but I just want to let everybody know to keep their eyes on the sky because I've got a real funny feeling something really is about to happen. I don't know why. I felt it all day. I've just got a feeling something is happening. And we don't know it yet, but it's about to reveal its ugly face. I think they're doing something which will lead to the rapture. I think that is what's happening right now underneath us. And I think you guys know that as well as I do. I love each and every one of you. If I don't see or hear from you again, I'll see you in heaven.
Man's name is not Jesus. Jesus. Jesus is actually a name that didn't exist till more modern times, and the J didn't even exist. So it was really Jesus, and Jesus means Hail Zeus. That's actually the definition of the name, Hail Zeus. Christians will adamantly deny that, but that's the facts remain. That's exactly what it means, as they used to worship Zeus back in the day. That's besides the point. Jesus was born at virgin birth. Now his mother, Mary, her mother was also born of a virgin birth. That is something that nobody ever talks about. Nobody ever teaches you this in Bible study. Nobody ever does this. Why? They don't want you to know. Number one. Number two, they don't even know half the time probably. If you go to the Apocrypha text, you discover that Mary's mother was a virgin birth. Why is this significant? It shows that some type of in vitro fertilization technique was being used in ancient times to create a specific bloodline. Mary's mother came down that line, and then Mary, and then she gave birth to Yeshua. If you look at a lot of these records or accounts of quote-unquote mythology, in the Greek myths, they talk about these virgin births as well. Yeshua wasn't the only person to come from a virgin birth. There were many, many of these people that were born from virgin births. They all have very, very similar stories. They're all demigods. They're half human, half, not really a god that creates the universe, but they're half advanced being. In this case, Yeshua is half Anunnaki and half human, more direct to the bloodline that way. What is it?
Now, don't get me wrong. When Billy Carson is talking about the Anunnaki storyline, I am with him 100% on what the Anunnaki, what the Sumerians and the Akkadians believed. Where I draw the line is where him and many other people try to validate Jesus, Yeshua, Yashu, as a historical character, because they're skirting the line of staying out of the crosshairs of the overwhelming majority of people by just outright saying, and I'm going to say it for them, the Jesus character, the Yashu character, is a literary creation. He was never a real person. He was never someone who actually walked. Not the Bible version was never. Now, so let's correct a few things that Billy Carson was saying. As far as the name Jesus, yes, the name Jesus is a transliteration of the name Yashu. Now, it's not Yeshua. During that time frame, Yeshua would not have been a word that was used. The name would have been Yashu. But that's a small minor detail. But it would have been Yashu. Now, the Greeks could not pronounce the name Yashu. So the closest transliteration, not translation, but transliteration, meaning that what is the closest word that we could use that would identify the same meaning? That became Ius. Ius is not Zeus. And then in the Latin, it became Isus. And then when the J was invented, it became Jesus. None of them are translations of the name Yashu, but they are transliterations to mean a saving Messiah, or the most loose version, a Zeus that saves, meaning a God that saves. They are not trying to say Hail Zeus. That is a popular misconception of that teaching, of that doctrine. But it is a Messiah or God that saves. So it is a transliteration, not a translation, and the meanings is completely different. Now, there are other writings that talks about the fact that Mary was a virgin, was born from a virgin birth herself, and this was created by the Catholic Church in order to pretty much deify Mary. So he's absolutely correct in that one. The question would then be, why isn't that part of your Bible? Why isn't that part of your Bible? I mean, I understand. I know why. The canon had been closed by the time this doctrine was created, so therefore they couldn't add more books to the Bible. And of course, the Protestant Bibles all picks up from that Catholic Bible. And originally, Protestant Bibles had the Apocrypha in it, which was the same as the Catholic book, the Catholic Bible, but for printing reasons, printing cost reasons, the Apocrypha in the late 1800s, early 1900s was now being excluded from your Protestant Bibles, which is why most of your Protestant Bibles don't have the Apocrypha in it. But the point is, these stories are not part of the Bible, but it's part of a doctrine that was taught by Christians. And so why is it taught? Now, the reason why I bring that part up is because Billy Carson goes further into merging the Anunnaki story with the Jesus story to say that since there are many stories of these virgin births, and some of the pictures, I don't know if he meant those exact pictures of those deities to which he put up there, like putting Horus up there would be disingenuous because Horus was not born from a virgin birth, but he was born from a miraculous birth, meaning Osiris' body was cut up, Isis put his body back together, couldn't find his ping, put an obelisk in the place of his ping, and she hovered above it. Isis was never a virgin. Well, she wasn't a virgin at that point, but she hovered above it, and she got pregnant. Is one of the primary Kemetic stories. So not a virgin birth, but a miraculous birth. But there are other instances of virgin birth, and there are instances of miraculous birth. Hell, even whether a woman is a virgin or not, just getting impregnated by a god, like how Zeus impregnated Achilles' mother or Hercules' mother, those were amazing births. So these demigods all have these amazing births. This is not an indication of him taking the Anunnaki story, which talks about the fact that Enlil, Enki, and Harsag, and Anu came together and decided to make a slave race, and the way it's described in Sumerian text, they use a format that we would call in vitro fertilization in order to create man in its beginning. He's trying to merge both of those ideas together to create Jesus as an half Anunnaki, half man, a demigod, to put him in the same category as Gilgamesh. But it's not, because during the time frame of the early 1st century, the Jesus stories were being written 40 years to 100 years after the Jesus character was first introduced to the Hellenistic Roman Empire. And so therefore, there were no Anunnaki around, there were no Incas around, there were no Enlils around. These were just literary creations. And even for one of the big differences, and even for the Sumerian story, when the Sumerians wrote about Enki, Enlil, and Harsag and Anu creating man, they are writing at a time frame when the events supposedly happened more than 3,000 years prior to the Sumerians actually writing this. The Epic of Gilgamesh happening 2,000 years, being written down, and happening 2,000 years prior to them being written down. So there's this long length of time between the time frame of the event happening, supposedly, and the writing down of these events, where in the Jesus case, the events of Jesus are written down 40 to 100 years after the so-called Jesus supposedly was walking around. All of them are literary creations, but to mesh those two together is really disingenuous. Is the best word I can use, the most polite word I can use, in order to popularize the story. I would love if people like Billy Carson, Bart Ehrman, would just flat out say, Jesus is a literary creation. Never walked on earth. The Bible Jesus never walked on earth. Were there plenty of Messiah types who were claiming to be the Jewish Messiah during the time frame of Jesus? Yes. Yashu being a very popular name, would there have been those named Yashu? Yes. Josephus mentions the fact that there was at least 4 of them during that time frame. So a person claiming to be the Messiah, sure. Killed by Pontius Pilate because he was a ruthless person and his job was to kill all of them who were claiming to be the Jewish Messiah, sure. But let's not confuse people by trying to merge information that don't match or never should be merged together in the first place. But y'all have a great day. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.
Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. So listen, Innocent, who is one of the twins of the Saint twins, they're YouTubers as well, you guys, influencers, all of that. She had her house burnt down, which was an accident, and I think it happened on Monday, and then some of us only heard about it yesterday morning, and we reported on it. And you guys, already when I was reporting on the story, there was a lot going on online in terms of people, talking about how weird it is that she's going through this very traumatic event, but they have time to take this content. Who's taking the content? And the sister is taking the content. I'm just thinking, I don't know, you guys. My sister is going through something. Let me pick up a camera and shoot. Is she the one that says, sis, make sure that you take footage of all of this while I'm crying? I don't know, you guys, but people were already talking about that. And the things that they were pointing out, you guys, weren't really a lie. It was like, not saying that it wasn't an accident, but something is weird about the content being taken around this time. But here's the thing, you guys, for all of you coming here to my channel, because people come to my channel to hear my views, because this is a commentary channel. Because if you just wanted to get what's happening with her house, you can go over there by Twitter, by Instagram, you can go read the newspaper article who will give you the facts of what's happening with this story. But if you're coming here, you really are coming from my opinion. But let me tell you something, you're not going to get a lot of it because most of you are not ready to hear anything different when it comes to the people that you like, okay? We can't question things. Even when the thing is obviously weird, you are not supposed to say anything about it, okay? So when it comes to these stories now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to sound like SABC and just tell you, oh, there was a fire there. Yeah, no. I think nothing because my brain really doesn't work, that kind of a situation. So now they are posts where innocent, I guess, with the family, they are asking for donations because obviously if their house burnt down, they lost everything. I was saying yesterday, I'm sure even their personal documents were in the house, the furniture, the clothes, everything. Okay, so they are asking for donation. In the communication asking for donation, they are clear to state because their house was worth 3 million rands and the furniture was worth 2 million rands. Just me in my corner, I was thinking, guys, I need to start calculating how much my furniture is worth because I buy my furniture one by one. I've never really sat down and think, how much did it cost me to finish this house? I haven't done it, okay? But they knew, maybe it's because they had just moved it.
Ma? Ja, tse ding a di yo ko sailing ne. Ke tlogetse. Ma. Boring ma. Ke thotse tse enough ma. Tse enough. Yeah. Ke yo ko ntlong. Ngone o nsendele voice note ya ko WhatsApp.